Hello, fellow football connoisseurs. Welcome back to the Quick Take. We all know what this video is going to be about, so I'm just going to run the OwnASaber video, and then I'll catch you after that. Before I continue, I would like to quickly remind you I am running a giveaway with OwnASaber.com, where at 15,000 subscribers, you could be in with a chance at winning the King of London lightsaber, the perfect saber for every Chelsea fan. 3 participants will be chosen, and all you have to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and check the pinned comment down below for more information. And with that, on with the video. So Chelsea lose 4-2 to Wolves. I mean, I'd like to go into the deeper details into this game and just go over exactly how we fell apart, why Wolves are better than we were. But at the end of the day, this has been a long time coming. Not even a long time coming, it's been happening throughout the season where Chelsea have just come to games just completely unprepared, not really with a care in the world, looking like boys against men. And in some cases, it really is boys against men, considering the amount of young players we've signed. The midfield partnership just wasn't working. Caicedo was left isolated at some points, and then that allowed him to be outcrowded, basically, lose possession, we concede. It was just a massive collapse from the entire team. Caicedo especially, I think he even came off and was like smashing his chair in anger because he was just so frustrated with himself and so frustrated with the situation that the entire team has fallen into this season. But I think this problem is rooted far deeper than players just underperforming. This really comes down to Mauricio Pochettino, Paul Winstanley, and Lawrence Stewart. And I know every single Chelsea football content creator is saying the same thing right now. But we're saying it because it's so we're saying it because it's so glaringly obvious what needs to change, who needs to leave, and what needs to happen. I even did a video outlining what I think should happen if Mauricio Pochettino is sacked. And in that video, I outlined that although I do believe he inherits a lot of the blame for what has happened this season, a lot of the blame actually falls on the directors of football. And notice there's a plural there. Why is there a plural? Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. Now, Lawrence Stewart, I think he came from AS Monaco. Not exactly the most experienced and best club in the world. And then we have Paul Winstanley, who came from Brighton when we got Graham Potter. 2 completely brain-dead, inexperienced idiots, cowards, who have come into the club with a mindset of lesser clubs. You wouldn't get this if we had a Shiki Begiristain. You wouldn't get this if we had an Andrea Berta. You wouldn't get this if we had a Marco Nepp. What they've tried to do is they've tried to reimagine the philosophy of Brighton. Buying young, selling for profit, continuing in mid-table, just accepting, not winning trophies, but at the same time being successful in terms of developing young players and selling them off for massive profits. They've tried to do that at Chelsea on steroids. But what has happened is they've just chucked these players into a side, and then they have picked some of the worst managers I can think of in terms of building sustainability and stability and giving these players the actual chance to develop and not be at the centre of all the media's attention. I'm talking about the Graham Potters, I'm talking about the Frank Lampards, and I'm talking about the Mauricio Pochettinos. That specifically comes down to Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, who spent months interviewing different managers. I'm talking about Julian Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, 2 top world-class managers. One has gone on to coach Germany for the upcoming Euros, and one is at PSG. Nagelsmann turned us down because his agent and himself recognised that there were bigger, deeper problems at Chelsea Football Club than just underperforming on the pitch. Luis Enrique, I'm not exactly too sure what happened there. It looks like we rejected him because he flew over to us for it, and I think he even gave us a presentation going over the entire squad and outlining exactly the steps he would take to develop them. That sounds brilliant, and I would absolutely kill to have Luis Enrique at the club right now. But who did they go for? They went with the media darling, safe option, Mauricio Pochettino. And I'm so glad, I'm not glad, but I'm so happy it's blown up in their faces, and that maybe, just maybe, they'll get a sense of reality as to what it takes to run a successful football club. You can't play Football Manager where you just have £1 billion to sign all the best youngsters and then chuck them all together in the hopes that, it might come good now, but it doesn't matter because in 2030 they'll all be experienced players anyway and we'll all be fine. That's not how football works. We have pressing financial issues now, which means that we've had to sell players that we didn't really need to sell. That means that we may be forced to sell other players that we may want to keep. And I did think this would happen, because you cannot sustain spending £1 billion and then not reaching European football, missing out on major sponsorships, losing out on players who don't want to join a team, sinking faster than the Titanic, who can go to other clubs like Bayern Munich, like Arsenal, like Manchester United, like Manchester City, like Juventus, like Inter. There are so many other clubs that are more prosperous and have a higher capacity for winning than we do at the moment. So this long-term plan, this Project 2030, is never going to work. The squad is completely imbalanced, and that is mainly due down to Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. Why is there 2 directors of football, and why are they so inexperienced at a club where you need experience at that level? They've actually tried, right, these owners have actually tried to do what they're doing on the field in the staff. They've brought in 2 inexperienced clowns in the hopes that maybe they become the world's best directors of football. That's just not how it works. You can't mess around with this. You can't mess around at this level of football. And it's not like Chelsea's fixtures in the future get any easier. We've got Aston Villa next on the 7th, away from home. Then Crystal Palace, away from home. After that, Man City, Tottenham, but that game's been postponed. Liverpool in the EFL Cup final. Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley, United. It's imperative that we get European football this season. We need that Jordan sponsorship. Financially, we need it. And I want nice kits. But going back to being serious, we need money, and we can't just rely on selling players, ripping the spine, ripping players that we need out of the club and just sending them off for profit. Because other clubs will see how desperate we are for money, they'll take advantage, they'll lowball offers, everyone will just give us lower valuations for our players who we think can go for more, and then we'll end up losing more money in the long run. What needs to happen? Poch needs to go tonight. But not only that, Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart also need to go, because we cannot allow them to choose the next manager. Look who they've chosen. Potter, Lampard, Pochettino. Can we allow them to choose the next manager? I have seen some rumblings, and I don't know how reliable this is, but this is coming from Sports Zone. Chelsea's owners are potentially considering a change of manager, and Xabi Alonso is liked by Baghdad Eghbali, who is willing to bring the Spaniard immediately. Obviously, I would sacrifice 50 sheep. I would do many things to see Xabi Alonso at Chelsea. I have spoken about him at length on the channel. He is up there, to me, with the likes of Julian Nagelsmann and even the likes of Ruben Amorim in terms of managers I would like to see at Chelsea. I do not believe he'd be willing to leave by Leverkusen right now. They are in a title race for the first time in a while now. They are competing at the highest level. They're undefeated, and he's doing fantastic things there. The only way I can see him coming in is a pre-agreement to join in the summer, and in that time we get an interim, whether that be someone like Hansi Flick. Actually, no, that should be Hansi Flick. I think Hansi Flick should come in. He should get these players used to playing that German style of football that Xabi Alonso is implementing right now. Of course, he's worked under some great managers in the Bundesliga, including Pep Guardiola, who does implement a pressing style of football, and he is obviously working in the Bundesliga, a league that almost thrives off of the gegenpress, the heavy press that is so successful over there. But that's a topic for another video. There are options we can take. There are avenues we can take to fix this before it gets too late. And I understand why people say you can't just sack managers after one, after the other. How do you expect to build stability doing that? And I understand that. You cannot expect to build stability and sustainability doing that, although we did do it for 20 years. But what I am trying to say is, had the managers that we have appointed under this new ownership, are they up to Chelsea level? Can you honestly say with a straight face that with the money that they've been given, Graham Potter, Frank Lampard wasn't given any money, he was an interim, but Graham Potter and specifically Mauricio Pochettino, are they up to Chelsea standard? Yes or no? No, they're not. I'm prepared to give a manager time to develop his philosophy and embed himself into the squad if he shows me that there's something to actually support. If he shows me that there's actually a pathway to success. You don't get that with Poch. It's backwards decisions, it's strange substitutions, it's losses, it's poor excuses, things that don't even make sense. These owners, and we can't protest against the owners because they've signed an agreement that they can't sell the club for 10 years, so there's no point protesting against the owners to lead the club. But what we can do is protest the owners to make better decisions going forward, and I mean bringing in better sporting directors, and taking a step back and just providing the funds and dealing with the other stuff that are crucial to the success of the club. That means agreeing good sponsorships. I'm talking specifically about the Air Jordan sponsorship. That is a massive amount of money that we can bring into the club. That takes a lot of pressure off us in terms of bringing in revenue, because we don't have that much the size of Stamford Bridge. Our match day revenue is fairly low compared to other clubs. I think Manchester United make like £40 million per year just from match day revenue. There needs to be big changes made tonight if Chelsea want any chance of being a successful club again. That Aston Villa game away from home is crucial to our success. That Liverpool final in the EFL Cup, that is crucial to our success. If you want to keep Poch for that final, go ahead, see what happens. I don't expect there to be much difference from what we saw at Anfield. And you can say, well, it's a neutral venue. The Liverpool crowd will be there. This is Jurgen Klopp's last season. Our fans are dejected. They're quiet. They've had enough. They won't be chanting. They won't be singing for the team to succeed. They'll be chanting Roman Abramovich's name. And you expect us to win that? You expect us to get into Europe with that? No. No, it needs to change now. There needs to be changes now so the fans know that their owners actually care. Even slightly. Do you know what the funny thing is? These owners probably could have made a lot more money if they had been smarter with their decisions when they first took over the club. Instead of bringing in Paul Stanley and Lawrence Stewart, why not get cheeky Begiristain? Why not buy him out of his contract for, I don't care how much it would have cost. In the long term, they would have made that money back tenfold. They want to invest heavily in players like Moises Caicedo, players like Enzo Fernandez, Mykhailo Mudryk. Fine. Wesley Fofana. Fine. But building a world-class backroom staff is just as important, if not more, in terms of building a club destined for success. Right now, we're destined for failure. And that is on them. Alright, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Poch out. Thank you for watching. I've been the Quick Take, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.